Welcome to Forest.chat, where we talk about individual endeavour in Western Australia, what it takes, what it means, and how you do it. I'm your host, Paul Vandermeer, and in today's episode, we're talking with Jenny Gerdei about competing in the women's competition at Autocross. Jenny kicked off her motorsport competition in the year 2000, and it took a few years, but she ended up winning state championships in Autocross, the women's division, even competing against some of the best in Australia and actually getting through the tunnel, thanks Ed. Jenny then took a break for a while where rallying was the focus of the family, but then came back to Autocross and has been doing Autocross since then. Welcome to Forest.chat, Jenny.
Oh, thank you very much. Thanks for having me, Paul, and I hope people find what I've got to say interesting.
I'm sure we will. So, Jenny, what is the women's competition at Autocross?
It's highly competitive, very, very competitive. I actually race against my daughter and about 5 or 6 other ladies who are there, and it's full on. It's pretty full on.
Okay, and what does the Autocross competition look like?
It's very dirty and muddy and wet and cold because it's in the middle of winter. We have around 70 to 80 competitors and probably we've got about 9 ladies now. Yeah, it's very competitive and we all support each other. It's none of this argy-bargy stuff. It's actually, we do enjoy each other's company and we enjoy getting people to enjoy autocross. So if you've got a fella who comes along and his wife's tagging along, you sort of say, well, you could probably get in the car. There's only 2 people in the cars, 3 allowed. So we try and encourage as many women as we possibly can to get in the car because we all know that women have a lead foot. So
there you go.
There you go.
How do you know women have a lead foot?
Well, most women I know do. There's only two speeds: stop and go.
Stop and go. Just coming back to this autocross thing, yes. and if someone was to turn up at an autocross, what happens?
Have a very supportive mechanical team behind you, so you don't have to prepare the car. It's called a works drive. If it's hubby and son prepare the car for me, which is really great. You rock up, you have your car, you've got a Motorsport Australia licence, a club membership. And, you gain experience on the track. There's no practising beforehand. You just get in and drive. And some women manage to be really quick, really fast, and others just have that gentle roll up to it. And then all of a sudden they realise that they're beating some of the guys, which is really nice.
Right. They sort of ease their way into it.
Yeah.
The competition, are you starting door to door and banging doors on the way through?
No. You've got a long track and a short track, and so you both go your separate ways and then you have a crossover in the middle and then you meet at the end, and there's nothing better than being the first one across the line.
Right, so it's a knockout competition?
No. We have 4 runs and they're all timed. You get to find your times out during the day apart from the last run, and then it's a big surprise at the end of who's won. There can be occasions when there's only a couple of seconds in between first and fourth. So anybody can win at the end, depending on your last run.
From what I can tell, you can actually see your results online as you're going through the day. Yeah,
they're put on a website. So you have your first 3 runs and then the last one's blanked out until we have our presentations at the end of the evening.
Cool. So it really is like all cloak and dagger right at the end.
Right at the end it's cloak and dagger, because even with the other grades in autocross too, sometimes there's only 0.2 of a second in it, and so you come into the last round and anybody can take it off. So you sort of wait at the end to see if you get called for a trophy or whether you've just been picked.
Cool. And have you had any over-exuberant or excessively exciting moments?
I've only had one accident, and I ripped out the suspension on the front left-hand side of the car. Left me a little bit battered and bruised and a little bit, shall we say, not as fast as I used to be. But I've only ever had one accident, and none of the ladies have ever rolled, but some of the boys have actually rolled their vehicles at autocross. So it's always in the back of my mind that you can hit a tyre, and when you're sliding in the mud, it's thrilling. It's really good fun.
Injuries are not really a thing? But
No, but I have decided now that at my age I've decided I need to wear a proper hands device. So I have the helmet that fits the hands device as well. So it stops my head from moving around, because I did end up with a bit of a sore neck after hitting a big tractor tyre that killed the car.
sounds like there's lots of excitement there for the competition.
Yeah, there is, and it's quite funny because during the day the track changes as well. So where some place may have been slippery to start with, it ends up being really grippy. So if you're in a front wheel drive car and you pull the steering wheel around and you point it in one way, it'll grab really quickly and shoot you off in a direction that you probably didn't think you were going to go if you were in the muddy stuff. So yeah.
We'll now ask you, what does it take you to be a competitor in the women's autocross competition?
I really don't know, Paul, to be honest, because I have always been a rev head. I've been driving since I was about 6. So for me, it's just a natural progression into racing. It's getting seat time in the car and becoming a little bit more confident in the car, because driving on gravel is totally different to driving on tarmac. So yeah, it's lots of practice. And if you've got a friend who's got a gravel pit, that does come in handy. You just got to be able to get out there and have a go, really, and not worry about what anybody else thinks. Just get out there and really enjoy yourself.
And it sounds like it's a really enjoyable thing to do.
Oh, it is. When you're out on the track, you think of absolutely nothing else. Nothing else. And all you're thinking about is, am I going to beat that car that's against me? And it's even better when it's the boys, because the boys are really, really vested in it, because they get a bit frustrated if you beat them. And it's very nice, but then it's also, you've got to be able to eat humble pie and sort of say, oh, look, good run there. That was a really good run. And yes, you gave me one, but, okay, you can take the other 3.
And how do you get the car ready?
Right. Hubby and my son are just two of the most wonderful people, because they get the car ready. I organise the parts and they get the car ready. On a good racing day, it's very nice to actually take the car home and just have to wash it. So then it goes back in storage till the next month. But my hubby and my son have been really wonderful, because my new car has needed a new clutch, and I could probably help them do it, but they do it for me.
They're into it.
They're right into it. They've built many cars, and they love the building process, and I like the racing process. So.
And what is the car?
I've got a 2007 Ford Focus XR5 that's had absolutely everything taken out of it. So when you look at the dashboard when you're racing, there's all these lights on for everything that's been taken out.
No seat heater?
No seat heater. Not even a radio. They took my radio out. We used to have the radio cranked when we were racing, but they took the radio out. Got to try and make it as light as possible. So, yeah, there's very little left in the car, just the seat. Oh, and the dash is still there as well.
And you must need the full get-up to wear?
No, you only need long sleeve and long pants. I do have a couple of pair of racing boots from my rally days, so I'm quite fortunate with that. And I do have a very good helmet and a hands device that I used while I was rallying as well. So it's sort of just to protect you, just in case the car catches fire, and you've got to have cotton on so that you don't get burnt, basically. So it's very, very minimal safety, but it's the essentials of what you need.
It's enough for the situation that you're in. You're never far away from assistance?
No. We have got a crew called our Rocky crew, and they're the guys that have got the little Rocky that comes out and shifts tyres and pulls you off tyres and pulls you back onto your wheels when you need to. And we also have an ambulance on site as well. It's not a fly-by-night type thing. It's actually done under very controlled circumstances or very controlled areas in there.
A couple of things there we might just mention for our listeners, that a Rocky is a Daihatsu Rocky four-wheel drive, a bit like a Suzuki Sierra type thing.
Yes, and he's got a boom on the back with the chains and everything, and he carries the fire extinguishers and the cones to be put out and seatbelt cutters and all that kind of stuff, all the safety equipment as well. And the guys who are on that are all well trained, and they know what to do in the case of an emergency.
Yep, they've seen a few rollovers.
Yes, we've had a few rollovers. A couple of the juniors have rolled over, which has surprised them a little bit that they could do it, and then they're back out there racing again after that as well.
And then the hands device.
Hands device is actually a device that goes over your shoulders. It's got like two sort of prongs that sit on your shoulders, and it's like a H.
Across the back of the neck?
Across the back of your neck. And then the helmet has got some little clips on the side that you clip that onto, and it's got little pieces of webbing that hold your head. You can turn and you can see and you can still reverse the car and stuff, but it just stops your head from snapping forward if you hit anything.
And moving too far.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's actually held in place by the harness that you wear. You've got the harness comes down over your shoulders.
Yes.
And this typically reinforced plastic, carbon fibre-y type thing sits underneath your seat belts.
Yes.
So that's where it actually gets to hold on.
Yes.
And then it effectively provides a anchor point for the leashes on the back that connect to your helmet.
That's correct. So you wouldn't use it if you were driving with a lap sash belt, which is quite often what people still have. But because we had a set of harnesses at home, we put the harness in because I don't feel safe racing with just the lap sash belt. I like to be strapped in and in nice and tight. Nothing moves. So
yeah, there's a good reason why they're used at the higher levels of motorsport.
Oh, most definitely.
And this is really, I'll call it club level motorsport.
Yeah, it's an introduction into rallying, really. Learning your car control and all that kind of stuff. I navigated for a while. I would never drive rally because I don't have, it's one of those little crests come up that I don't have the guts to put my foot down. But yeah, navigating's easy because if you can't see it, it won't hurt you.
And look down.
Yeah, look down. Hold on to the book and just read the notes off it and look at your terror trip and make sure you've got all the right info going to your driver. So
that's it, yeah. And then the driver can do the right thing with all of that info.
Yeah, they can do the right thing. They're usually the fearless ones.
We've had a pretty good look at what it takes you, Jenny, to actually be a competitor in the women's autocross competition. Let's have a break now, and after the break, we'll talk about what it means. We've had a look at what it takes, Jenny, to be a competitor in the women's competition at Autocross. Now, let's have a look at what it means. Jenny, what does it mean for you, your family, or the community that you compete in the women's competition at Autocross?
For me, it's like a runner. It's like a mental thing. It's my meditation once I get in the car, even when you just strap your seatbelt on, you're not thinking of anything else. You're not thinking of any mum things. You're not thinking of nana things. You're not thinking of wife things. It's just hop in the car and you going over the track straight away. You're lining up and you're waiting and then getting on the start line and you're thinking of absolutely nothing else except racing. It's a really nice place to be because it's just, you don't see anybody out the sides. You're just looking out the front windscreen, looking at the track and thinking how you're going to nail it. So for me, it's definitely mental health for me. For our family, we all still race together. When my son's home, he races. When my husband's home, he races. I race against my daughter. We run the canteen together for the club. My daughter's other half and his family are all involved with autocross as well. So for us, it's a big family. It brings us all together, and even the grandkids have come down and are really, really enjoying the racing, and particularly my granddaughter who likes watching the girls who are racing. So for her, she can see that it's not just a boy thing. The girls can actually get in there and do it as well. For the wider community, we have lots of juniors that come in, and for me, it's been lovely watching them develop and grow into nice human beings who can actually have a conversation with you. Getting to know all the other ladies, because I'm probably the oldest. Oh no, there's one other older lady, and all the rest go down to, we have a junior who's competing in the ladies, and she's doing really, really well as well. So it brings you together as a community as well. It goes out into the wider community. We've done rallies as part of our family as well. I've run a couple of rallies. It's all intertwined, and you get to meet people who, I've known one particular person for 20 odd years who I met at rallying, who was the person to beat, finally got her, and then It was like we became the firmest of friends, and we're still friends to this day. And all the other families that we've seen go through, and you've seen the kids come through, and you've changed nappies on these children, and now these children are now racing. So community-wise, it's very family orientated. And the community gets a lot out of having people who actually know how to drive on the roads, and young kids who know how to drive on the roads, who know how to correct something if something goes wrong as well.
That's a pretty interesting side benefit almost.
Yes.
Because the club, which is the Southwest Touring Car Club, has a very strong focus on the family motorsport aspect. And while the mechanics are around racing the cars around, the club really lives and breathes on inviting people in and being a part of that community.
We have one family that have 9 members racing. We've got the 2 brothers, and then they've dragged one of the wives in, and then all the kids have started racing. Got a father and son who have been racing for 20 years together. It's lovely to watch the kids grow up, and then all of a sudden they're racing as well. And then they come to the track, and mum and dad are still racing, and they're racing, and then they bring their babies as well. So everyone holds on to the babies while they're racing. So it's definitely family and community spirited.
Absolutely. And the side benefit is you get to practice your car handling skills.
Oh, look, I had one junior who I actually took to get her licence, and the driving instructor said to me, "Oh, you're one of those people, are you?" Because she looked at the number plates on my car, and she said that's why she drives so fast. But Hannah was also able to control a car and know what she was doing. She could drive a stick car. So that was it's a positive.
It's a positive. And what's a stick car?
A stick, manual. Not one of those automatic things that you just flick it in and take off.
So you got to coordinate your clutch and your accelerator and
choose a gear. That's the best part, when you're sitting on the start line and you're holding onto your handbrake and you're trying to balance your clutch, because you don't want to burn your clutch out, which I've done a couple of times. But you don't want to burn your clutch out, but you also want to have that start. That really good start when, you take off straight away and you just drop the clutch and off you go. So, there's a lot of... and then when you're getting into corners, do you go back into first, or do you stay in second and just punch it and push it through? The kids learn car control. And watching some of the mums out there, you sort of think, I could see them in the car parks. They wouldn't have trouble parking.
That has a very wide range of meaning for a good number of people, Jenny.
It's more than just me. There's a whole community out there who just love motorsport, and being part of the women's group, it's just lovely because there's none of this shunning anybody because they're doing well. You're always uplifting people and making sure that they know that they're doing a really good job. And there's nothing better when the people who are winning most of the time get beaten by one of the kids, because if you do or one of the other ladies, if you have a bad run and you drop 5 seconds, you're not going to get back into unless somebody else makes a mistake along the line. So that's another reason why at the end we only have the 3 rounds showing, because you don't know who's going to muck up on the last one and whether or not the muck up's going to cause enough that they're going to lose by... I remember I lost by 0.2 of a second one event. So, it's very, very, very competitive.
Absolutely. And you've also learnt a lot of other skills around the club, things that you do?
Yes, I had a bit of a dabble with the website. That went okay, but now we have a very good man who's taken that off my shoulders. Even just staying in contact with being a secretary, doing the Excel spreadsheets and using PowerPoint presentations and all that kind of stuff, being involved in a club, you gain all this experience that I probably, because I haven't been in the workforce for quite some time now, I'm still up with computer stuff, and you have to work with it. You've got to work with your point system. You've got to do your 25-point system, your 50-point system, figure out all that, do your spreadsheets. Yeah, it's great. It's not just driving. There's the driving, there's the organising, there's the being a clerk of course, there's being in the canteen, there's doing timing. I've been Autocross secretary twice, as in organising numbers and the thingies, and I've been secretary of the club since I went back. So I'm actually the secretary of the club, but I also did the other side too. So I know all the jobs that need to be done within the club to be able to run an event. Yeah, we have a great club and we all join together to do it all, and everybody knows what needs to be done, and we just get in there and do it. It's great being part of a bigger thing that's just me, but then by saying that too, I lose the nana, the mum and the wife and the sister thing, and it's just I'm actually a person who's racing as well. So you're not sort of labelled. And the boys treat you like an equal. There's no sexism at Autocross. It's wonderful. It's really good.
And you've done really well with it. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So we've had a good look there at what it means to compete in the women's competition at Autocross. Let's have a break now, and after the break we'll have a look at how you do it. So we've had a look at what it means. Now let's have a look at how you do it. Jenny, how does this work?
Oh, look, it's really easy. Get a very supportive husband. Actually, try and get a husband who's already racing, and if you're sitting on the sidelines, sort of say, I think it's about my turn. Get yourself a decent car. I mean, mine cost me $1,000 to start with. It was a bit of a wreck, and hubby put the engine back together for me, which was really great, and so did my son. You need a Motorsport Australia licence. You need a club membership. That's about it. And some guts to actually get out there and give it a go. And not be worried about what anybody thinks. Just get out there, have a go. Yeah.
That's it. That sounds very simple.
It is very, very simple. It is very simple. And if you're at Autocross and you're having any problems, because quite often my husband he's a FIFO, so he's away, everybody's there to help you. If you come in to the pits and you have something wrong with your vehicle, there is always somebody there to help you.
That's fantastic.
They'll actually run to your car to find out and make sure you're all okay, and that if
Are you all right? Are you going to beat me in the next round?
And if your car's not any good, you'll get all these people come and say, you can use my car, it's okay, I've only got 2 people in my car. Please come and use my car. I tend not to do that because I've had someone wreck my car before. So I tend to, I just, if something happens for the day, that's just the way it goes, and I go back in the canteen and help feed everybody.
Thank you very much, Jenny, for coming along and sharing your experience of being a competitor in the women's autocross competition. It's been great to have you here.
Oh, thank you very much. And I hope more women, if the women listen to this podcast, come down and have a go, because it's really good fun, and you'll find that you have strengths that you didn't realise you had.
Yes, absolutely. It's a great thing to be able to get out there and do something that some people think is maybe a little bit different, but in reality...
Well, we drive on the roads every day. It just means you go a little bit faster and it's legal. We often say, we're having so much fun out here. Are you sure this is legal?
Geez, I hope so. Cool. Thank you very much, Jenny.
Thank you very much, Paul.
You've been listening to Forest.chat, where we talk about individual endeavour in Western Australia, what it takes, what it means, and how you do it. I'm your host, Paul Vandermeer, and in today's episode, we talked with Jenny Gerdei about being a competitor in the women's autocross competition. Remember, there are 4 ways you can get involved with Forest.chat. Share the domain Forest.chat with your friends and family and people you meet. Listen to the published episodes at forest.chat/episodes. Book an interview at forest.chat/interview. Book an advert at forest.chat/advert. I'm looking forward to joining you with our next interview. Until next time, enjoy making it happen.